Good afternoon everybody, and actually it's still morning. It's Wednesday morning, the 9th of February, and here I am filming on a different day yet again. Anyway, good morning everybody, and welcome to my channel. I'm Elaine and I'm Ellie Welly Stitcher, both here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. So yeah, as I say, here I am. It's Wednesday morning, just about. It's 11:15 actually, and it's a lovely day again. Just lately, every time I film a Flosstube, the sun comes out. I'm hoping I've put myself in a position where I'm not going to get masses of glare from the sun, but you might get a bit of glare off of my glasses, and I apologise for that. But if I took them off, I wouldn't be able to see anything. So there we go. It's been a while since I last saw you. It's been just over 3 weeks actually, which is quite a long time for me. It's just no particular reason really. Life just got a bit in the way. I had decided, so the last time I filmed was on a Monday, and I liked it from the point of view that my husband was at work. It was really quiet at home, just me and the dogs. And I uploaded my video much quicker than I normally can. So I thought, going forward, I'm going to film on weekdays instead of on a Saturday because I like it better. So I decided to film today because I don't normally have Wednesdays off. I normally work Monday to Wednesday, but I don't normally have Wednesdays off. But this Wednesday I'm dog sitting. My husband has gone away for a couple of days on a fishing trip, so it's just me at home with the dogs. So I went to work Monday and Tuesday, and last week I worked a longer week. I worked 4 days instead of 3, so that I could only work 2 days this week, if you see what I mean. So that's part of the reason I left it 3 weeks as well, was that I worked an extra day last week. Things were a bit busy, and I was quite tired. So like I say, I don't want to film at the weekend anymore. I'd rather film on a weekday. Generally speaking, I think going forward it will likely be Thursdays that I film, but I try not to leave it 3 weeks again. Next time I try and leave it 2 weeks. So it will probably be, next time I film will probably be 2 weeks tomorrow, so on the Thursday. So yes, the husband's gone away for a few days fishing. He went early this morning and he's picked a lovely day to go because, like I say, it's blue skies. It's really quite mild outside this morning. I've not long come back from walking the dogs, and it was really lovely out. We stayed out extra long actually, just because it was so nice. So so I'm hoping we've turned a corner and winter's on its way out and spring's on its way in. He's hoping, fingers crossed. I have to say I'm not a big fan of winter at all. It's particularly January and February. They're just such gloomy grey months normally. So, but this morning I've actually poodled about in the garden a bit, having a look and trying to decide, well, thinking about tidying it up ready for spring and what I want to plant this year and all that kind of exciting stuff. Those of you that are gardeners will know how exciting it is when it gets to spring and you can start thinking about putting your bulbs in and planting some seeds. I'm not a massive flower grower, but I love growing veg and fruit and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so looking forward to that again, hopefully come the spring and summer. Anyway, we're waffling on, aren't I, already? So I picked up a few new subscribers, quite a few actually, which was a surprise. So hello and welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you ever so much for coming along and subscribing to my channel. You know, I try and come along every 2 or 3 weeks and have a little stitchy chat because that's what I like to do. And so yeah, you're very welcome. And to all my regular subscribers, thanks ever so much for coming back. You know how much I really appreciate you, and I really love spending time with you. So really good to see everybody again. Okay, and talking of the weather, as we were, because you know I am British and we like to talk about the weather, you know, you guys in the US that have had all great big dollops of snow and whatever, I hope you're all okay. So I do not like snow, I really don't. And to be honest, the part of England that I live in, we hardly ever get any, ever. So we haven't had, touch wood, because it's not too late yet, but we haven't had any snow this year at all. And you know, I just don't like driving in it or anything. I just don't. So I hope you guys are all keeping safe in the US and warm. And Canada, I know you've had some really, really freezing cold weather as well. So I think I was watching Stitchman Darcy the other day, and he was talking about minus 30 odd degrees, and I was like, oh, you can keep it, Canada, sorry, but don't send it over here. Okay, so yeah, so that's enough about the weather, isn't it? So what have I got for you today? So I have got a couple of FFOs, so fully finished objects, one of which I think you're probably expecting to see from my last video, and one of them you're not expecting to see, I know for sure. But if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the finish, but not the FFO over there. Then I've got my WIP update, and because I've been on the missing list for 3 weeks this time, I have got quite a bit of progress to show you. I think I've stitched on less things, but got more progress. That's what I think. You have to tell me what you think. What else have I got? Sorry if I keep glancing over here, but I have jotted down not many notes, because that's not the way I roll, and I'd just lose myself in notes if I wrote copious amounts of them. So I've just jotted a few bullet points. So I've got my WIP update, how I got on with January's WIP go, which reminds me I've got something, a bit of haul around that. My WIP go for February and how WIP go's been going for me so far. I've got a little bit of haul, not much, I've been quite good. I've got my giveaway winner from the last video. So if you remember, I had 2 project bags that I'd made, one of which I gave away to my last giveaway winner, which was Jodie, and she had the choice of picking which one she wanted. And just so you guys know, Jodie picked the gnome, or the gonk I call them. She picked the gonk fabric one, the red one. So the one that I was left with for today's giveaway is the pink one. So I have the winner of that. And then I do have a chart to give away at the end today as well. And I'm just asking for your thoughts around, actually we'll talk about it later. I won't talk about it now, we'll talk about that when we get to the giveaway, which is near the end. And then I have just finished reading a book. So those of you that like my book recommendations, I'll tag that on at the end as well. So anybody who's just here for the cross stitch, you know, you don't need to stay and listen to the book bit at the end. So yes, this is a channel about cross stitch. I didn't say that at the beginning. I never say that at the beginning now, but I think as it's called Flosstube, I think most people that are interested in cross stitch at least know what Flosstube is. So I haven't got any knitting to show you. I haven't shown you any knitting out for a few videos because I have done a bit, but not anything worth showing you, if I'm really honest. I've done about 3 rows on my big blanket that I'm working on. I haven't even finished my last pair of socks. I've had them on the go now for weeks and weeks and weeks, since before Christmas. You know, and they're sparkly Christmas socks, and it's February and I haven't finished them yet. I just haven't been in a knitting mood. And I have done a little bit. I've got a grey like shawl blanket. I have done a little bit on that, but again, that I might finish that one actually before the end of winter. And then come summer, I knit a few summer pairs of socks normally in cotton, but I don't like to knit in wool in the summer. My hands get too sweaty on the wool, so knitting will get packed away for next autumn. Anyway, I think I've digressed enough. That's 10 minutes gone and we haven't even got to any stitchy stuff yet. So let's get on with some stitching, shall we? Okay, so, let's start with my book of days because I've been good and I've been keeping up with it. So here's where we are with my February book of days. I haven't seen, this is how January looked in the end. So I ended up, where I put these stickers in here are the days that I didn't actually stitch at all in January. So out of the whole of January, there was 5 days where I didn't stitch at all. And most of these stickers are out of the antiquarian books. I've got both of those that you can purchase those on Amazon. And if you're a bit patient, they do go on offer sometimes as well. So it's worth looking out for when they go on offer. These ones here, and I've got 2 different lots of these sampler stickers. They're from the Needlework Press, and I bought those from the Patchwork Rabbit sort of near the end of last year, I think. So yeah, so January I was, I normally try and stitch pretty much every day, but I did have the odd couple of days last month where I didn't. So far this month, I've only had 1 day where I didn't stitch, and that was this Sunday just gone. And the only reason that I didn't was because I spent my time FFOing a couple of things instead, and it took me sort of I started it in the late afternoon when I'd normally be stitching. Sunday's normally a big stitch day for me, but I started it late afternoon. I didn't finish FFOing until early evening, and by then Call the Midwife was on TV and I wanted to go and watch that. So that's where my book of days is at. So I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm going to leave it open. I've tried to keep February with just a few heart type things on it, like the 2 bunnies clearly in love with each other, and a little heart up here, etc. I've got some more stickers that I'll put on it as we go through the month as well, but I went sort of with a bit of a heart theme, and these were all out of both of the antiquarian sticker books. So that's my book of days. That's where we are with that. So shall we do my FFOs as we've just been talking about them? Let's do those first. So the first one that I finished, and we talked about this in my last video because I was asking your views on whether I should finish this one in a hoop or whether I should finish it as a pillow, because my original plan was to finish this as a pillow. So I went with the hoop option. So this is my Coeur de Lavande by Crochet A Go Go. Here it is, fully finished. It's not the most perfect finish in the world, people, I can assure you. I'm going to show you the back in a minute and you'll go, Elaine, that's not very neat and tidy, but who sees the back? It's on the wall in my bedroom. Nobody sees the back except me. So what I did with this one, by the way, was stitched in almost all the called for, apart from the word lavender across here, which was stitched in mystery floss. What I did, I took a hoop. This is vintage marble 32 count. That's what I got, by the way. I had some grey satin ribbon. I started off, I thought I was going to put like a lilac ribbon around this, but I couldn't. A, I couldn't find the right coloured lilac. B, I didn't want something too, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't want something that was going to be too in your face colourful, really. I put a purple ribbon round to start with to see what that looked like, and I didn't like it. So I thought, no, I'm going to keep it more subtle. So I went with this grey ribbon that matches the fabric, basically. And do you know what? It took me ages. Ages to wind this ribbon on. Absolutely ages to get it. It's not perfect by any means, but it's not bad, I would say. It hides the hoop, which, you know, is fine. So all I did with that, I hot glue gunned it on at the beginning, obviously wound it all the way around, and then hot glued it again at the end. And I've done a similar thing in the past with I made like a dream catcher once, and I'd done something similar with that. So that was that. And then on the back, originally when I was going to make this into a pillow, I was going to put like a velvet back on it. So this is what I did put on the back, and this, like I say, is a bit too loose actually. I didn't pull it tight enough when I was stitching it, but it's all right. It's all right. Like, so I'm okay with it. So yeah, originally this was going to be the back of the pillow, but obviously I put it as the back of the hoop instead. So, and all I did with this was I did put a bit of fray stop round this fabric before I sewed it in, just to stop it fraying, obviously. And then I just, instead of blanket stitching it around, because I didn't want the stitches to notice too much, and hopefully they don't really, so I just whip stitched it basically. And then I got some organza purple ribbon, which I thought went with the dark purple on these flowers, and made a little bow to cover up the top of the hoop, you know, where you tie it tight, and there it is. Put a little ribbon on the top, and like I say, that's now hanging in my bedroom, so no one's going to see my slightly saggy back. But yeah, I am pleased with it. And the reason I went with a hoop in the end, and I'm glad I did, if I'm honest, so a few of you suggested to me about, you know, it would look nice as a pillow in my bedroom on the bed. I love other people's pillows that they put on a bed when they dress all the bed and make it look beautiful. I am not that person. I'll tell you now. I admire everybody else's, but I am not the person that is going to put loads of pillows on my bed, because I can't be bothered with the faff of, like, obviously taking them all off to get in bed at night, and then the next morning when I make the bed having to dress it all with all the pillows again. I can't be doing with the faff of it. So I admire everybody who does do it. I think your beds look absolutely amazing when I see them, but it's not for me, I'm afraid. So I thought, I haven't really got anywhere. I've got like an ottoman thing at the bottom of my bed where I probably could have put the pillow, but I thought, oh no, Elaine, just put it in a hoop, put it on the wall and see what that looks like, and I like it. So yes, so thank you for all your suggestions, and it was quite even actually between should I pillow finish or should I hoop finish. So yeah, so very pleased with that. So it's going back on my wall. See, that's that one done. And that was one of my WIP Go goals for January. I had to stitch on a summer project for 5 days, and for 4 of those days I stitched on that. So yeah, really pleased with that. Okay, now my next FFO. So this was an unexpected project actually. So I was going to start a new project at the beginning of February, and it was going to be a scattered seed samplings one that I showed you in my last video. So if you go back to my last video, you'll see it there. It's the one with, it's called Shelter from the Storm, and it's two little bunnies sheltering under a toadstool. Well, I didn't start it, and the reason that I didn't start it was because I was flicking through Instagram as you do, and got completely enabled by somebody's pillow finish, and I just had to go and get it. And I mean it was a Sunday actually, and I've got to go and get it. I can't remember who the Instagrammer was now, so I do apologise. Oh, I really can't remember. She's quite a famous one as well. But anyway, she'd done this pillow finish, and I took one look at it and I thought, I have got to stitch that in memory of my mum. I have to, like right now. So it's a freebie chart, and it's by the Snowflower Diaries, and at the moment I'm already doing the Joyful World little monthly charts as a stitch along with Ali Stitcher on Instagram. Well, I say I am, but I'm failing miserably with them. So I have been working on February, but I haven't worked on it since you last saw it. So Ali, I am really failing badly, and I haven't FFO'd January still yet. I was going to do it on Sunday when I FFO'd these two, but I ran out of time. Anyway, I saw this little freebie chart, and you could stitch it as a Valentine's chart, and I think that's what it was intended for, but I stitched it because it kind of brought a lump to my throat, and it really made me think of my mum. And for those of you that watch my WIP page, you know I lost my mum last April, the end of April last year, and it's still very, very raw. And well, I don't think you ever get over losing your mum, do you really? So so anyway, here we are. This is my little pillow finish of the Snowflower Diaries. It's called, sorry, I'm gonna have to check my book of days to see what it's called. It's called I Will Be There, which I thought was quite poignant, really. But I loved stitching this. It was quite a quick stitch. On the little freebie chart, she uses 2 colours, and I didn't. I used 1. I just used what I had in stash, basically. So, sorry, I should have just kept my little book open so I could tell you a little bit about it, because I did jot it down. So I stitched this on a 32 count latte by Fibre on a Whim, and I used a silk on this. This is Silks for You PR126, and I stitched it 2/2. So like I say, on the actual little freebie chart, she uses a green for the for these like leaves, etc., and I didn't. I just stitched the whole thing in the variegated red, and it is a lovely red. But I only had a small skein of this particular silk, and I thought, well, my mum deserves a silk, so I am going to use that, which is what I did. Then I just made a little bow and put it on top out of lace, and then I backed it in this sort of quite spring-like fabric. Actually, it's all like little reddy pink roses and butterflies. And my mum loved flowers and she loved butterflies, so it kind of went quite well, really. So I've stuffed it with a mixture of polyfill type stuff, not polyfiller. I always want to say that for this. You know, the fibre stuffing stuff. I know if Lorraine from LNS Crafts is watching this, she's laughing now because she knows I want to say polyfiller. Right, so anyway, I've stuffed it with the toy stuffing stuff, and then I've filled it with some walnut shells as well, just to give it a little bit of weight so that it stands up better. But yeah, it says, in case you can't see, just whisper my name in your heart and I'll be there. And that's, like I say, it brought a lump to my throat. It made me think of my mum, so that's why I stitched it. And it was a real quick stitch. I mean, it took me about 4 days in all, and that's not 4 full days, but just a bit of stitching here and there. And it was a nice stitch because I was just stitching it in the one colour. So that's that one. So that was my very unexpected start and finish. So there you go. I like it very much, and eventually when I've got enough, at the minute it lives in here with my Judah B one over there, but when eventually I've got enough of these things, then enough pillows and things, then I'll put them all in my dough bowl. But I've got a big dough bowl, and my pillows would look a bit drowned in there at the moment because it's a bit too big for them all. Right, okay, what next? So let's go on to that was both of my fully finished objects. So I'm really pleased with those. So that is 2 finishes that I've had this year now. I don't think there's going to be another one for a little while. Well, January maybe from the Snowflower Diaries, and probably February because I haven't nearly finished it. But I should be starting March now, and I haven't even pulled the floss or anything for March yet. So yeah, not doing very well at all with that stitch along. I think that one will be a start along, and that's it, I think. Okay, so let's do my WIPs. So the first one I worked on, and I didn't do very much on this one at all actually. So this is Unicorns, Valleys of Waterfalls. It's by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Jan Patrick Krasny. And I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished, and also where you saw it last time. And I only did 300 stitches on this one, which is not like me actually. And also with this one, I did have it in an 11 by 11 Q snap, but part of my haul, if you like, this time, which I don't really count it as haul because it's not very exciting, I bought a couple of new Q snaps from Lakeside Needlecrafts. So I bought a couple of new 11 by 17 Q snaps because they're what I prefer to put my large full coverage projects in. So this has moved from being in the smaller 11 by 11 that it was in. I have, you can't see the full where I am with this at the minute because part of it is covered up under here, but I've still been working on the mountains, and like I say, all I've done literally is 300 stitches on this one. So this is stitched on 25 count easy guide, and it's 1/1 full cross. So yeah, that's where we are with that one. Okay, I need to get back to that one soon because I'm starting to lag a little bit behind, I feel, with unicorns. I did mention in my last video, and then it wasn't until I was editing it at the end that I realised I never actually said, but I did say that I'd decided to change the way I stitch my full coverage this year, not as in like the way I stitch, but as in how I put them in my rotation. So what I was doing last year was I would change project every sort of probably 2 or 3 days as a general rule. This year I've decided to try and keep a project on the go for at least a week. So it may be that you don't see quite so much, you won't see all of my full coverage quite so often because, like I say, I'm trying to keep them out a bit longer because I want to, you know, try and get a bit more progress on each one rather than just doing sort of, I don't know, 400 or 500 stitches in a couple of 2 or 3 days. I'd rather do 1,000 stitches and feel like I've moved it forward a bit and progressed it, if you see what I mean. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So that was unicorn. So this one, I did only have this one. I am guilty of only having this one out for a day because I just wanted to go and stitch other things really. I wasn't, this one at the moment is pretty easy stitching. These mountains, there's not really, there's no confetti in these really at all. They're really easy stitching. There's sort of probably 3 or 4 colours, so they do go quite fast. I mean, I did 300 stitches in just a couple of hours, and they're full cross, they're not tent stitch, so you know, which isn't too bad going, I think, but it's a bit boring stitching as well because it is. Oh right, okay, I'll get some more of this yellow, shall I? So yeah, so that's probably why I haven't really felt in the mood for that one. Then the next one that I worked on a little bit, well, actually I worked on this one, I was still working on this one after my last video. I'd already had it out for a few days and I kept it out, I think, for another couple of days. So This, I'll put a picture in again of where you saw this last time and what it looks like when it's finished. So this is Feast, and this is charted by Pain Free Crafts, and the artwork is by Chris Dunn. And hopefully I've put a picture in, like I say, where you saw it last time. So since I last showed it to you, I put another 500 stitches into this one, although it looks like it hasn't moved forward at all, but it has, believe me. And I told you in my last video that this is just confetti heavy. It is really confetti heavy. So this is kind of the opposite of unicorns, really. Unicorns you can merrily stitch away, you know, with just a couple of colours. This one, it's a colour change every few minutes. It's like, oh, I'll just do one more stitch in that colour then, and then swap it for another colour. So, and because it's got lots of ninja stitches, I do like to stitch cross country, and I do like to, you know, go quite far normally, but because of that I'm trying to confine it. I don't want to stitch just within the square really. I used to stitch full coverage like that, and I prefer to move about a bit on the picture, but because it is quite confetti, I'm not moving too far with it so that I don't end up missing any single little stitches, if you see what I mean. So I prefer to, you know, pick whatever the main colour is, wherever there is more than, say, 10 stitches of something, and then fill in the little ones, all those little ninja stitches afterwards. That's the way I kind of work it, really. So, yeah, but I do like stitching this. I do, because, yeah, it does require a little bit of concentration. And I'm not saying that every stitch in this piece is in the right place, because I know it's not, but with full coverage you can get away with that a bit as well, unless you make a real glaring error where perhaps you do a couple of squares of something that's completely out of place. Then the odd stitch here and there that's wrong isn't really going to make a blind bit of difference. So this one is stitched on Easy Guide, and this one's 28 count, and this is 1 over 1 full cross as well. So yeah, so that's where we're at with Feast. Okay, then the next one that I worked on, and this was kind of a bit of mindless stitching as well, if you like. So this is my newest full coverage project, and again I'll put a picture in of what this looks like when it's finished and where you saw it last time. So this is Alice in Wonderland, and it's charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch, and the artwork is by Adrian Border. And I am doing this one as a stitch along with Kaylee Cruyff from Instagram. So Kaylee and I started this one on New Year's Day, and I'm quite excited actually, because you know, my husband, like I say, is away on a fishing trip at the minute. So I'm doing a Zoom call with Kaylee this evening, which will be quite exciting. So we can have a little catch up around how she's doing with her Adrian Border artwork and how I'm getting on with mine. Although I'm not going to stitch on Alice this evening actually, because I'll explain why in a bit. But for those of you that remember my last video, I showed you a project bag that I bought from Kaylee because she's got a sewing shop. I'll put the details of her shop below, but she has got a sale on at the moment for Valentine's. So I do believe she's doing 14% off. That's in 14th of February, etc. Or it might be 15% off. Anyway, I will put the details of Kaylee's sale below. So yeah, and the code, the discount code that you need if you go and purchase something from Kaylee. So she's got quite a lot of stuff that she does in her shop, and she's told me that she's just started doing RIP dyes as well, if any of you are interested in dyeing your own fabric. So I have had a go at dyeing, but I've not done RIP dyes before, and I wasn't overly impressed with my dyeing capabilities. It is something I'd like to have another go at, and I might well do, particularly as there's a couple of Picture This Plus fabrics that I really like, and I just can't get them anywhere at all, either here in the UK or in the US at the moment. So I might have to resort to trying to dye something and try and replicate a couple of those. Anyway, here's where Alice is at the moment. So I have put another 1,000 stitches into her, and you probably think, oh, where then? Because I've been working in all this navy blue Starry Night background, basically. I have started, this is like a little worm on top of a toadstool here, but I bought the rest of this down because I don't want to end up leaving this behind. And this is a bit like unicorns in that it's just a couple of colours, apart from the stars, these little stars that come in, which several different colours. Mostly it's a couple of different colours of navy blue at the moment, but this is quite easy to be doing while I'm watching TV, actually. So yeah, I have put another 1,000 stitches into this. This is on 28 count. This is 2/110 stitch though, so this one goes a bit quicker. So yeah, I thought I need to keep up with the background, otherwise I'll end up, you know, just wanting to stitch on the worm and things rather than all the boring bit behind it. So that's where we are with Alice. And then the next one that I stitched on, now I think I've made some really good progress with this one. So in my last video, I was saying I couldn't decide which of my full coverage projects was the biggest one that I've got, and it's this one. I looked afterwards just out of curiosity on Pattern Keeper to see which one I got the most stitches, and it's this one. So again, with this one, I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished and where you saw it last time. So this is Magic Forest, and it is a Haid, and the artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. And this is a stitch along that I'm doing with Jemima, the Rocking Stitcher. So I've been very naughty and I haven't posted any update pictures on Instagram, so I do apologise, Jemima, I need to do that. So this is where I am with it now, and I'm super pleased with how this one's coming along. Sorry, that flipping sun's coming round in the window again. It does it to me every time. I've got a new phone, by the way, this is my first time filming with my new phone, so I'm hoping the quality of my film might be a bit better today, but I'm not too sure now that sun's creeping round into my window. Anyway, this is where we are now, and we've got this bird that's come in. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. The colours in this are really, really nice, and it's really nice to stitch on. But yeah, I started really getting this bird, the detail on the bird, and I just wanted to keep stitching it. So I've done over 1,000 stitches on this one as well. So really pleased with that. I didn't want to put it down because I just wanted to keep stitching the bird. So again, this one is on 28 count easy guide, and I'm stitching it 2/110 stitch. So yeah, exciting. I was so excited when I was filling in this bird. So yeah, that's where we are with that one. And then my WIP goal for January was to do 3,000 stitches on a full coverage project. And the full coverage project I did it on was Alice, by the way. And I'd already completed that goal halfway through January, so I was quite pleased with that. So Alice, in actual fact, ended up getting another 1,000 stitches on top of the 3,000 I already had to do anyway. Okay, so I met both of my WIP Go goals in January because the first one was to do the 3K stitches on a full coverage. The other one was to do 5 days of stitching on a summer project, 4 days of which was on Lavender Heart, and I did another day on a summer project, and I'll show you that in a minute. But let's finish my full coverage off. So I've got one more to show you. So this is Cheese Delivery, and it's charted by Pain Free Crafts, and the artwork is by Chris Dunn. And again, I'll put a picture in where you saw it last time and what it looks like when it's finished. And I am still working on this one at the moment because it is a WIP Go goal for February. So here is where it is now. So far, I've only had this one out this week. Oh, when did I bring it out? Saturday, I think. Might be Friday or Saturday. I've done 1,800 stitches on this one. So my WIP Go goal, one of my WIP Go goals, so the February numbers that were called were 5 and 17. This one is number 5 for me, which is to stitch 3,000 stitches on a full coverage project. Again, I haven't got that many of those on there, but it just happened that 2 were called in 2 months. So this time I thought the 3,000 stitches I want to dedicate to Cheese Delivery. So I have, because I really want to get to 50% on this piece this year. And I have achieved so far, up until last night, 25.18%. So 31,000 and something stitches I've done on this so far. So I've done some more over here. I've been working on this bit here. I've done quite a lot of work on these cheeses. I've nearly finished this top shelf of cheeses now, and I flitted between the 2 sides really a bit. Then I want to come and finish some more over here. So when I'm having a Zoom tonight with Kaylee, I'm going to work on Cheese Delivery because I need to get those 3,000 stitches in before I can swap to a different project. So this one's on 28 count, easy guide, and I am stitching this one 2 over 1 full cross, no, 2 over 1 10 stitch, not full cross. So yeah, so that's where we are with that one. So quite pleased, well actually I'm very pleased with how that one's coming along. I think the cheeses look amazing, don't they? They really look amazing. I really like the way they're coming along. So yeah, so that is my stitch for later today. Okay, so that's all my full coverage that I worked on. So the next project that I worked on was one of my smaller ones. So after I finished my last video, and this is the only time I stitched on this one, I decided to put a bit of work into my Clara Hanson drum that I'm stitching. So this is from Hello from Liz Matthews, and I'll put a picture in of where you saw it last time. And this is what it looks like when it's completed. And I am stitching this drum here, so I'm just stitching from that border line there, the swans, and then these leaves underneath. Then I'm going to make it into a drum, which will be my first attempt at that. And I was watching Kim, the Contented Stitcher, her latest video yesterday, and she's just made a drum, her first drum that she's made, and hers looked amazing actually, really good. And I thought, well, maybe if Kim's bit the bullet and given it a go, I can give it a go. So So we shall see. Although I'm a little way off it yet, I need to put some real work into this piece. So here's where it's at since you saw it last time. So all I've done is I've done a couple more of these leaves down here. I didn't spend very long on this, but this is a nice piece to stitch on actually, because again it's, you know, it's one colour, so you haven't got to keep colour changing. Naughty me, I didn't finish my floss look. I'm stitching this one on 36 count, picture this, plus vellum, and I am using a Mrs. Sadas silk on this one. The silk's called Darling Bleu. And yeah, you know, if I put my mind to it and I really cracked on, this could be my next finish, I think. So I might give this one a little go this afternoon actually, while I'm editing my video. So yeah, so that's where we are with this one, and then I can have a go at making a drum. So yeah, we shall see. Okay, so that was the smallest project that I worked on. Oh, and that one, by the way, I am stitching it 2/2, which I normally on 36 count, particularly with the silk, I would use 1/2, but I just, for the drum, want it to look a little bit bulkier on the stitching, and it's just right actually. I think if I'd have done it 1/2, it wouldn't have looked quite right, not for what I wanted anyway. Okay, so the next piece that I worked on is my long dog sampler, and I really wanted to get a bit of work into this one because I last time I showed it to you, all I'd done was a bit of back stitching on it. So I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished and where you saw it last time. So this is Spirit of Clanfair PG. Like I say, it's a long dog sampler, and I have put into this at least 1,500 stitches, if not even more actually. So here it is now. Woo. I hope that's not too glaring. It's a bit hard for me to see what you can see. Okay, so what I've done since you last saw this piece is this huge spoon here. It's a real biggie. And I've also done this spoon up here, this little spoon here. I've got, believe it or not, that is part of a little spoon there, but it just needs some back stitch on it. So I've got to go back and do the back stitch on this, the back stitch on this. There's, I think, a little bit of back stitch on that as well. Oh, and I carried the border over to the end of the piece as well. I hope that's not too blown out in the sun. Oh, but it's proper, honestly. I can't say, once I get going on this piece, I love stitching on it. It's so good to stitch on. But this spoon was a beast. It took me about three stitchy sessions to finish that. So this one I am stitching on 28 count even weave in the colourway Knox from Chromatic Alchemy. And I'm using Dinky Dye silks for the majority of it. So there's Robin's Egg, Quicksilver, and Ghost Gum is the darker grey, and then this silk here is this variegated silk is from XG Designs. It's called Peacock Fuchsia. So that's where I am with my long dog. Yeah, really pleased with that. I really want to finish that this year because I have got another long dog waiting in the wings to go, but I'm not going to start it until I finish that one. Okay, so then the next project that I worked on, and I've moved this one, guys, in the Q-snap, so you're not going to be able to see it as well as you normally do. So this one, and I did remember to take a picture out this time, this is my Mirabelia. This is Lady of Mystery. And I put a picture in where you saw her last time. And here she is now. So I've moved her in the Q-snap. I've moved her down and I've moved her across this way basically. And the reason being, I've started on this trellis, this archway that comes up and around her, because I am not leaving all that till the end. I still haven't finished her hair. And you know, if you watched my last video, you know that my hair has been customised. She's got low lights in her hair because we used the wrong colour. And I told you last time that the colour that I'd used was called 096, and it isn't, it's 196. So just for anyone who's interested. So yeah, so I've moved her in the Q-snap now because this is the edge of this piece here, and I want to come up, and there's a huge bit that goes across the top of her hair, and there's another huge bit, sorry, hopefully you can see that a bit better. There's another huge, it comes over quite a way over here. This is stitched on 28 count even weave in the colourway Cream, and yeah, it's going to be quite a big piece because it is on 28 count. So I am using all the called for floss for this one, which is DMC and Karen Water Lilies. Apart from one, the black that I'm using is Anchor 403 instead of 310. So that's where Lady of Mystery is at the moment. And then the final piece that I stitched on, and it is a long time since you saw this. So I said that to complete WIP Go, I had to complete 5 days on a summer project. And I did my Coeur de Lavande, which was for 4 days, which left me one more day to stitch a summer project. And of course, the summer project I had to stitch on was summer, of course, because what's more of a summer project than that? So this is Summer by the Cricket Collection. This is what it looks like when it's finished. Hopefully you can see that. I love these charts. I love them a lot. And I can't believe I've put it away. I put it away for so long. I'm so glad that I started doing, I changed my goals for WIP Go this year, and instead of putting specific projects, I made my themes a little bit broader than that, because it's meant that I've picked up things that I haven't touched for a while. So Summer, where I'll put a picture in where you saw it last time. Which, like I say, is a lot of videos ago. It was probably back in the summer, actually. Oh, where's my needle gone off of here? It's probably stuck to the back of another one somewhere. My mirror, probably. So here is where Summer is at now. So I have finished this big sun in the middle, and then I have done this M over here, and I finished the M, almost finished the M as well. And then I've put these little beats in down the bottom here. I've got a little bit of backstitch left to do on those. I backstitched in the bits on the roots on these carrots as well. I hadn't done that before. So I am stitching this on all the called for DMC, and it does call for a lot of DMC. And this is stitched on 28 count linen in the colourway Rain Stops Play, which is a gorgeous colour, and it's an opalescent. I don't know if you can really see the opal on that. I hope this video is going to be all right in the end with that sun. Anyway, this is Rain Stops Play. It's just a gorgeous colour. It really is. It's from Chromatic Alchemy, and I really love it. So yeah, so that's where we are with Summer. And this one, as you can see, I've kept it out on a Q-snap because I loved stitching on it so much. I want to crack on and do some more. So yeah, that's where we are with that. So all in all, I think I've done quite a lot of stitching. I'm really pleased with that, really pleased. Okay, so that was my WIP Go goals for January. Now I'm going to move on to haul, but there's one bit of haul that I haven't taken out that I meant to. Please excuse me while I do this, one moment. Okay, so I completed my WIP Go goals for January, and my WIP Go goals for February, like I've already said, I've got number 5, which is to do 3,000 stitches on a full coverage, which is cheese delivery. And the other project that's got called, the number is number 17, and this time I've got to stitch 5 days on a spring project. Well, I haven't got many spring projects. In fact, I've got hardly any, not that I'd class as spring. So I thought I can go 2 ways with this. I can either start the little scattered seed samplings piece that I was going to start last month, because that's quite springy. It's got little bunnies and things. Or why don't I pick out the only other project I've got that is spring that I haven't stitched on in ages, and that's this one. And I thought, well, I enjoyed stitching the Cricket Collection Summer so much last month. I do believe it's time to get this one out again. So this is Spring ABCs. This is by Little House Needleworks. And you have not seen this one, apart from my WIP parade. You have not seen this in a while. So I will put a picture in of where you did see it last time. I won't show you it for live now because I've moved the Q-snap and there's nothing to see. So ready to start on it basically. So yeah, I'm going to stitch 5 days on Spring ABCs this month to complete my WIP Go goal. So that's WIP Go for this month. Now, I haven't told you what my reward is going to be for completing WIP Go. So I thought I knew what I wanted. If I get everything blacked out, a full house by the end of the year, my WIP Go treat to myself for doing that is I have a thing about scissors. I really love different embroidery scissors. Now, I've got quite a few pairs of scissors, but there is one pair of scissors that I really want, but I really cannot justify the expense of them. I really want a pair of Saju embroidery scissors. For those of you that know, they're just gorgeous. They do different themes. There's like Eiffel Tower ones, and I think there's some hair ones. I don't know which pair I want, but I want a pair of Saju scissors, but they are not cheap at all. I think the cheapest that I've seen them is about 70 odd pounds. So yeah, they're not cheap. But anyway, that's my treat, my blackout treat. If I complete every one of my WIP Go goals this year, I will buy myself a pair of those at the end of the year. In the meantime, I have bought a treat for myself if I complete a line. And you're probably thinking, well, that's a bit premature, isn't it? So you've already bought yourself the treat if like you complete it. And I bought myself the treat because you just have to buy these as and when they come up, basically. So I treated myself to a needle minder. I'm not going to use it until I complete a line because, you know, that doesn't seem right. But this is a needle minder from Agnes Little Needle Minders. And a lot of you probably heard of Agnes. So she has a shop on Etsy. She also has a Facebook group where she lets you know when she's likely to be posting on her Etsy shop. Now, if you don't get one of Agnes's needle minders when she posts them, a bit like Clay by Kim in the US, you're not going to get what you want, basically, because pretty much as soon as she posts them, they're gone. So I had no choice, did I, but to buy this in advance, and I won't use it. This is the Cosmic Dragon. Let me see if I'll take it out, actually. So this is Cosmic Dragon. So they are made of resin, and she puts Swarovski crystals in them. I hope you can see that, okay? They're gorgeous. And mine's still in the box. I haven't used it. I haven't put it on a project yet, much as I really want to. They're not cheap, but they're beautifully made, really beautifully made. And people are collecting these as proper collector's pieces. So, yeah, if you join Agnes's Amigos Club, then she gives you discount codes. And like I say, she lets you know when she's going to bring a new collection out. But they come beautifully packaged, and she puts a few little treats in there for you as well. But they are gorgeous. I mean, they proper are gorgeous. So that is my treat to myself for when I complete a line on WIP Go. So it's going back in my needle minder tin, which is this one here. That's my tin that I keep my needle minders in, for anybody who likes tins. I bought a set of these Disney tins. There's this one, I've got a Mickey Mouse one, and Snow White. I think they're about £2 each in like a little cheapie shop in the UK. Right, so that's my treat for completing a line on WIP Go. I'm that confident I am going to complete one. Okay, so over to other haul. I've only bought one chart. So I bought this from Peakside Needleworks. So this is Spring Frolic at Bunny Hill, which is by Brenda Gervais. So I thought, you know, I need to buy a few more spring charts because I've hardly got any, and I love Brenda Gervais, so I bought this one. Isn't it cute? That's the only chart that I've bought. And I have bought 3 bits of fabric. Oops. So the first bit that I bought is a piece from Peakside, and I bought this for the Scattered House Samplings little bunny chart, but I don't, when it came, it's not that I don't like the fabric, but I don't want it for that piece. So this is Fibre on a Whim's 32 count wheat, and I bought a fat 1/8 of it. And it's nice fabric, and I'll use it for something, but it's not going to be for that particular project. I don't like it with the floss, so it's not the colour I thought it was going to be. So it's darker than I expected it to be, so that's not going to be used for what I thought. Then I've joined a Fabric of the Month club. Well, I was already in one anyway, and I've got my fabric for that, which I'll show you in a minute. But I joined Coffee Craft Fabrics Fabric of the Month club. I'm in her Facebook group anyway, but she was dyeing Ada and Even Weave, but she didn't dye linen, so I never signed up for her Fabric of the Month. But she has now started dyeing linen, and I got my January piece of fabric. So this is a 35 count. It's not got a name, it's just her January Fabric of the Month, and it's this lovely blues, cloudy sort of blue. It looks like a nice summery blue sky, actually, I think, and would fit quite a nice summery piece on there. So yeah, so it's 35 count linen, and I'm really pleased with my first piece of fabric from Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics. So I am going to keep up with my Fabric of the Month from her. And I really love this piece of fabric as well. So I am in Lakeside Needlecrafts Fabric of the Month club. Well, theirs is bi-monthly. and I don't get it every month. Their fabric that they do is fabric flare, so it's printed fabric, which is fine because there's some super ones. I don't get it every single time. If I don't think I'm gonna stitch on it, then I don't get it. But I did get this times because they've just started doing opalescence as well. And this is 32 count even weave, which is so easy to stitch on. And I get quite a big piece of this. But this again, I think is a great summery colour, and is not dissimilar to Rainstop's Play actually. That's quite. Let me see if I can fold it and put it a bit closer. Sun comes out just as you don't want it to. It's really blowing out. Anyway, it's blues and lilacs and greens, and it's this opaly fabric. It would look nice with a Mirabelia on it actually, I think. Anyway, that's that. Oh, the sun's gone in, maybe you can see it a little bit better. Anyway, I'm really pleased with it. It's really pretty fabric. So that's all my haul. So I think I've been quite good. Okay. Oh no, it's not. I've got one more bit of haul. Sorry. The other bit of haul that I've got is a sticker book. So, as if I haven't got enough flipping sticker books with my 2 antiquarian ones, because you get loads of stickers in them. But this one came up as an offer on Amazon, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get that. So it's an Arcana, a sticker gallery of vintage, I can't say the word, ephemera, and it's got over 600 stickers in it. So it's really good book, really good. And I didn't pay masses for this one. It's hardback, and I think they've got other ones in the series. But the thing that I liked about this one in comparison to the antiquarian ones that I've got, so this one's got lots of like 1920s kind of ladies, and like the flapper girls and that kind of thing, vintage ladies. And we've got let me just show you another page. So it's like, there's some that are similar to the antiquarian book. There's there's quite a lot of butterflies and birds and things, but we've also got steam trains and hot air balloons and the beginning of flight with the aeroplanes and that kind of thing. So I bought a new sticker book. So I think I've got enough stickers to last me a lifetime actually, but there you go. Right, giveaways. So like I say, Jodie took the red Gonk project bag, which left me with the pink one, which was this one. So this one's got a little reindeer on it. So I did the random comment picker before I started filming this morning. I will put a picture in of the winner, but the winner is Tea Time Fix. So well done, Isabel. So you're probably thinking, how do you know she's called Isabel? So Isabel is one of the ladies that's coming on our stitching retreat, which is next month. And I'm getting really excited now. It'll be my first retreat, and yeah, it's only a few weeks away, and really looking forward to it. So for those of you that don't know, this is a retreat that I'm hosting with Teresa Little Stitcher. And it is the 17th March, I think. Anyway, it's getting close now and it's getting exciting. But Isabel, Tea Time Fix, who has her own floss tube. So if you speak French, Isabel does a French floss tube. Then, go and check her out. So anyway, Isabel, congratulations, you've won the project bag. So let me know, please. I will comment on your comment. But let me know if you would want me to post this to you, or whether you would like me to hand it to you in person at next month's retreat. So yeah, well done, Isabel, congratulations. So yeah, so that was my giveaway, and then I thought I'd do a giveaway this time just because I felt like it. And I was having a little sort out in my craft room, and I was going through some of my charts the other day, and the bit I was going to say to you at the beginning, and then I said, oh no, I'll save it until my chart at the end. So I was going through my charts, and I don't know, did you find when you started stitching that over the course of time your taste in what you like changes? Because I found that. So what I wanted to stitch when I first started stitching is not necessarily, and the kind of charts that I bought are not necessarily what I really want to stitch now. So, and I pulled out a couple actually, a couple of which I'm going to take to the stitching retreat, because we're having a tombola, so I'm going to put a few charts into that I know I'm not going to stitch. But I've saved a couple as well for giveaways on my channel. And one I thought, I'm not going to stitch this, so I'm going to do it as a giveaway. And it's a Nora Corbett, and it's called Lady Orchid Moth, and it's this one. So don't get me wrong, because it is pretty. I do like it, and I particularly liked the colours of her dress. You know, and I like stitching fancy ladies, but I'd rather stitch a Mirabelia than one of these, if I'm really honest. And I don't like the fact that you can't see her face. I'd rather see a Mirabelia with her whole face and in all her glory. So I'm not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to stitch this. So if you would like to stitch this, and I'll ship it anywhere, so don't mind where you're from, it's absolutely fine by me. Please use the word in your comment, or just use the word as part of your comment. Please use the word orchid. Use the word orchid, ORCHID, in your comment. Be interesting to see what, I love orchids, by the way. I have got several orchids. So yeah, be interesting to see what comments you come up with. And it doesn't have to be, you know, an innovative comment. Just put orchid if you want to. All I ask is please be a subscriber. Please be over 18, because I need to have your address. And please don't use, you know, any of those forbidden words in your comment, like giveaway and free and all that kind of thing. So yeah, so if you'd like the opportunity to win that chart, please comment the word orchid, and I will draw it in my next video, which will be in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, so that's all I have got for you cross stitching wise. So, and I'm very conscious we're already at 1 hour and 11 minutes, but then I haven't seen you for 3 weeks, so I had a lot to talk about, didn't I? Okay, so I just want to do a shout out. So we have a new Flosstuber. She did her first video the other day, and I just wanted to give her a little shout out because she's one of the ladies that's coming on our Essex Needles retreat, and she's such a lovely lady, and she's such an experienced stitcher. She's got some beautiful projects, so go and check out Gina Stitches. So I think she's Gina Stitches 21 on Instagram, but she's been talking about that she was going to do a Flosstube for a little while, and she's finally plucked up the courage to do it, and I'm so glad she has, because she stitches Mirabelia. She's just started stitching full coverage. She's got chatelaines. Seriously, she's got some gorgeous projects. So go check out Gina. Her video's nowhere near as long as mine, so she'll be much easier to watch than I am. So yeah, so that's my little shout out for today. And yeah, so books. So for those of you who don't want to stay and listen to my book review, then thank you so much for dropping in and listening to me chat on, and I'll hopefully see you all in a couple of weeks' time. So for those of you that do like books, I wanted to just mention this one really, and you know, it'd be interesting to know what you think of it. So I've just finished a book that's called, sorry, just so I get the right pronunciation, it's been out a couple of years, this book, so it's not brand spanking new. It's called The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and it's by Stuart Turton. And I didn't realise until I was quickly looking it up this morning to give you a little bit of information about it, that Netflix have bought the right to this, and that apparently they're filming it into a 7-part series. Don't know when that series is going to come out, and actually, having read the book, I can imagine it will make quite a good series. It's quite an unusual book. So it came out in 2018. It was Stuart Turton's debut book, and quite often I find with authors, their first book is sometimes their best, because they've usually had that story in them, haven't they, for quite a few years. And so sometimes I find their debut book is their best book. It's a bit different, this book. I think it won the Costa Book Prize for 2018 at the time for a debut author. I found it a bit slow going to start with, but once I got into it, I was a bit hooked actually. Basically, it's a story about this lady, Evelyn, who is killed 7 different times. And I'm not going to go into the details too much, but suffice to say that there's a character in the book who has to solve the murders, and how she's, you know, he needs to try and prevent her from being murdered, or at least his task is to find out who murdered her. And he does that by living inside 7 different characters that are at this weekend party where the murder happens. So it's a bit of a strange book, and it's got a real different twist to it. And I found it a little bit difficult to get my head around for the first few chapters, but once I got into it, it was pretty good actually. So yeah, you have to stick with it a bit. It's not kind of, if you're the sort of reader that needs something that's going to grip you right from the off, then this probably isn't the book for you. But if you're somebody who's a bit more patient and you can do something that's got a bit of a slow burn, you might find that you quite like it. But yeah, I'm not sure when Netflix are going to bring it out as a series, but yeah, it's not a bad book. It's not bad. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like brilliant, but it's not bad. So that's my book review. Anyway, I think I've chatted on to you for long enough for one day. It's been really good to come back and see you all again. It feels like it's been ages. I apologise, it won't be 3 weeks next time. I promise I will be back before that. It will be a weekday again. Anyway, it's been really good to talk to you all. Have a great couple of stitchy weeks. Take care of yourselves wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I hope you all have a great couple of weeks, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.